My husband, Taylor, is a real piece of work. Despite borrowing $50,000 from my dad, he's not only avoiding repayment, but also considering filing for bankruptcy to dodge it. If I declare bankruptcy, I don't have to pay it back, right? Serves him right. That's what he says, smug as can be. He's really not thinking this through. He has no idea what life would be like after bankruptcy. I'm Michelle, 32 years old. Taylor and I have been married for 5 years, and for better or worse, we've led an average life together. We don't have kids, so we have a dog instead. We mostly spend our time with each other and our furry friend. Seeing our families is rare since they live far away. We usually visit them during summer or Christmas vacations, especially Taylor. He always makes a fuss when it's time to go to my parents' home. Hey Taylor, you're coming with me to my parents' house for the holidays, right? Oh, no. If we're going, let's go to my parents' place. We've been to your parents many times. It's time we go to mine. We've talked about this. It's just a hassle. And there's nothing to do at your parents' house. Don't you think you should apologize to my dad about the money? Our life is possible because of him. He even helped us with that debt crisis. Again with that? You're so annoying. Taylor sighed loudly and left the room. When we first got married, my dad gave us the down payment for our house and later lent Taylor part of the capital for his startup business. I've been slowly repaying the money for the house, but the $50,000 Taylor borrowed for his business remains unpaid. I know Taylor's business is struggling and times are tough, but that's a different issue altogether. Taylor's lack of gratitude towards my dad irks me every day. Then, one day, something happened. I got a rare phone call from my mom, who usually only texts. Hello, Mom?
Michelle, is now a good time?
Yeah, I'm fine. You usually text. What's up?
Actually, your dad, Daniel, collapsed.
What? Dad collapsed? You're joking.
He wasn't feeling well for a few days. He's stable for now, but if you can, could you come home?
I get it. I'll talk to Taylor and head back home as soon as possible. When I explained the situation to Taylor, he reluctantly agreed to the restrictions just this once. But there's another issue I have to think about. Taylor, it's about Rocky. I called our regular vet to board him, but they're fully booked. So what's the plan? I'm thinking of hiring a pet sitter. At my words, Taylor lets out an exasperated, What? A pet sitter? Give me a break. I can't stand the idea of a stranger in our home. You don't have a choice. Rocky needs his walks, his bathroom breaks, his meals. Absolutely not. He'll be fine for a day. Stop relying on services like that. Are you kidding me? If we leave him alone for a day, he'll get stressed out. We can't find common ground and the conversation is going nowhere. When Taylor seemed to have an idea and exclaimed, Ah! I've got it! I've thought of something great! What is it? Why not ask Isabella? Why would Isabella be involved? She just got divorced, right? And she's been complaining about not having work. Let's ask her to take care of Rocky while we're gone as a part-time job. Honestly, I absolutely don't want that. Last time Isabella visited, money disappeared from my wallet. I'd withdrawn $300 that morning, and by the time Isabella left, it was gone. Taylor dismissed it when I told him, saying it must be a misunderstanding. Since I had no concrete evidence, I couldn't do much. But I was certain it was Isabella. I didn't trust her, and didn't want her in our home. Still, with a trip back home imminent and Taylor firmly against a pet sitter, we were out of options. We ended up asking Isabella. I gathered my always ready $3,000 in gift cards in a drawer. I slipped a piece of paper into the drawer so I'd know if anyone opened it. And of course, I didn't tell Taylor. Otherwise, I couldn't feel at ease letting Isabella into our home. We asked Isabella to take care of our dog and headed to my parents' house. Thankfully, Dad's condition stabilized and we could talk to him. When we returned, I told Taylor about the drawer trick. As expected, the paper had fallen and $2,000 along with gift cards were missing from the $3,000. I had told Isabella not to enter the bedroom, but I had suspected she might steal something. I sighed and told Taylor, See, now do you get why I didn't want Isabella in our home? Well, she's having money troubles too, so a little bit of cut it out. We're not exactly rolling in it either. Taylor, you owe money to Dad, remember? That's a different issue. Just call Isabella over here now. Taylor reluctantly dialed her number. When Isabella arrived and we confronted her about the money, she admitted to everything. This time, and the previous time, with my wallet. She promised to pay it back and we let her go, but my anger hadn't subsided. Taylor then sat down next to me. If he is, I'll make sure Isabella doesn't come around anymore. But what Taylor said next was jaw-dropping. Michelle, you're surprisingly mean-spirited. What? Setting up a trap like that for Isabella isn't something a grown adult should do. Wait a minute. Are you taking your own sister's side even after all this? Isabella's in the wrong too, but what really turned me off was how you doubt your own family and set up such an elaborate scheme. Don't joke around. If you'd believed me about her stealing money last time, maybe we could have prevented this. Just like you don't want the pet sitter in our house, I don't want Isabella in our house. Wow, so narrow-minded. What? Don't you have anything else to say before blaming me? It was like he was saying it was my fault for setting up a trap to catch Isabella, who had stolen twice. I was angry and frustrated. After that, Taylor's and my relationship started to deteriorate, with more and more days of not speaking. The tipping point came when Taylor handed me a piece of paper after returning from work. What's this? You know what it is. Divorce papers. You want a divorce. I've had enough of you over the Isabella thing. I don't want to be with you anymore. There's no point in being married. Let's divorce. This happened because of your sister, you know. Don't shift the blame onto me. I don't even want to talk about it anymore. Just sign it. No discussion, just Taylor pushing his own viewpoint. I grew disgusted with him and agreed to the divorce. It's clear Taylor will keep taking Isabella's side in the future, so I figured it was best to cut ties with him sooner rather than later. A few days later, the divorce went through. We sold the house we'd lived in for 5 years and fairly divided our assets. I told Taylor to use that money to keep making monthly payments on his debt to Dad, and he agreed. And so, our married life came to an end. Months later, Dad passed away from illness. And just like that, I inherited the right to collect Taylor's debt repayments. But the following month, Taylor fell behind. I did a little digging through mutual friends and found out his business was failing. He did say he was struggling with the company just before we divorced. Well, maybe I'll give him a break. Since I knew Taylor was struggling, I decided to wait 1 more month. But when there was still no transfer from Taylor, I lost patience and called him. Hello, it's Michelle. What's up, Michelle? What do you need? What do you mean, what do I need? It's about repaying Dad. You haven't paid since last month. Oh, is that all? Well, I'm not paying anymore. Excuse me? Caught off guard by his unexpected response, my thoughts freeze for a moment. Taylor, without any remorse, continues. Why should I? My father-in-law's dead, right? No point in paying back a dead man. What are you talking about? That's ridiculous. I inherited Dad's right to collect the debt, so now I'm the creditor. Understand? I don't care. I said I'm not paying. I can't pay. Suddenly furious, Taylor starts yelling over the phone. I'm struggling with my business too, you know. Why should I repay a debt to a dead person? It's a waste of money. Don't joke around. How can you even say that? Your current business exists because of Dad. Yeah, sure. He helped back then, but he's dead now. Only you would benefit if I repaid the debt, so why would I do that? At that moment, rage surged through my veins. Our parting wasn't amicable, and I know about the current economic situation. If only he would sincerely apologize for the delayed repayment. But he's showing no remorse, let alone an apology. Worse still, he seems to think he's off the hook for repayment now that Dad is gone. I'm infuriated by Taylor's convenient thinking. I won't let this go. He will repay every penny. Determined, I reply in a stern voice. Just to clarify, Dad's death doesn't absolve you from repayment. Annoying, Taylor muttered irritably. I told you, only you benefit from me paying back. There's no way I'm paying back $50,000. All right then, I'll take appropriate measures. Is that okay? Suddenly, Taylor erupts in laughter on the phone. Then I'll just file for bankruptcy. Bankruptcy? Yeah, if I file for bankruptcy, I won't have to pay back anything. Serves you right. You think that will save you? You'd better repay. You're just trying to get money out of me. I can't possibly pay back that amount. So, you never intended to repay it? If the business had gone well, sure, I would have paid, but it didn't. Not even sorry towards Dad. Why should I apologize to a dead person? Both you and your sister are irresponsible with money. Disappointing. See what you want. I've got my trump card. Bankruptcy. Fine. Go ahead and file bankruptcy, but you'll regret it. Thanks for the advice. Bye. With that, he happily hangs up the phone. Taylor seems to think that filing for bankruptcy will free him from his debt, but he fails to consider the downsides that come with it. If declaring bankruptcy wiped out all your debts, everyone drowning in debt would be doing it, happy as a clam. I have a friend who had to declare bankruptcy because they co-signed a loan once. It was a heart-wrenching process. I saw the struggle up close, so I know how tough bankruptcy can be. That's why I decided not to tell Taylor about it. Later, it seems Taylor really did go through with the bankruptcy process. I got a text saying, "Debts are gone. Serves them right." I didn't reply. I just waited to see how things would play out, pretty much expecting Taylor to self-destruct. A few weeks later, just as I expected, a desperate call came in from Taylor. "Michelle, please help me." "Long time no see. What's up?" "I'm screwed. Yeah, I get rid of my debts, but now I can't even live a normal life." "Oh, that's unfortunate." "Unfortunate? You don't get it. I'm really in trouble here." "Well, declaring bankruptcy is a last resort only for those with no other options." "What?" For Taylor, who clearly didn't understand the situation, I laid it out plainly. "Listen, bankruptcy is the last resort. They'll take all your assets, cars, electronics, everything. Your credit cards won't work. You'll be blacklisted." "How do you know all this?" "I saw a friend go through it. It was a nightmare." "What? So you knew this would happen and you didn't stop me?" Are you finally getting it? This is no joke. I thought I could just reset my debts and get back to normal life. This isn't what I envisioned. Not my problem. It is your fault. If you told me how hard bankruptcy is from the start. At this point, Taylor was trying to shift the blame, so I gave him a reality check. Don't you get it? You made the choice without doing any research. Even after I warned you, you made your bed, now lie in it. And you're asking for help now? That's pretty cheeky. I'm your ex-husband in need, isn't that enough? Ex-husband. You didn't even show up to Dad's funeral, and you've never been grateful for anything. Why would I help trash like you? Karma's a bitch, isn't it? Trash? Who are you calling trash? Just to make it clear, you're in a really bad spot right now. Don't expect to live like you used to. Bankruptcy doesn't offer a bright future. You chose this path. Now live with it for the rest of your miserable life, you damn fool. I let out all my pent-up frustration and hung up the phone. Immediately blocked the number and blocked on social media. And that's how I finally cut off all ties with Taylor. As for him, word has it that he's living a pretty miserable life. He thought he could just wipe the slate clean with bankruptcy and start fresh. He may have acted like he had it all together, but reality isn't that kind. Since he's on the blacklist, he obviously can't get a loan for anything. On top of that, it seems he owed a lot of money to his friends, and he hasn't paid them back. He's been contacting other friends to borrow money, but no one will lend him anything now that they know his situation. In fact, almost all his friends have cut ties with him, and it seems he's living a lonely life now. It's nothing less than poetic justice. As for Isabel, it turns out she wasn't just stealing from me, but also from her friends. Apparently, she was recently arrested by the police. The rumors spread in the neighborhood, and she lost her job too. I'm so relieved to see those two people I can't stand both get their comeuppance. I'm really glad I got a divorce when I did. I'll never have to deal with those siblings again. If I ever date someone in the future, I won't make the same mistakes. I'm determined to be more discerning in judging people and build better relationships.